Hey, good day. This is another episode of the Raw Report. How you doing today? This one I want to get into it on a solemn note, a very serious note, because some of these things are getting out of hand concerning policing in America, policing in the community. One of the good things that is currently going on in New York City is we are heavily investing in community policing. And when it comes to community policing, we mean the police have to be a direct reflection of the community that they're policing. We don't want to have crossing of it unless there is somebody, it got to be at least one officer that's in reflection of that community, if not all officers. Like if you're in a heavy Jewish neighborhood, we think at least there should be a tag team or a partnership there or a solo officer that's a reflection of that community. And if there's somebody with him, he'll get an understanding of the needs of that community through that particular one officer. If you're in the Black community or Hispanic community, they're going to have somebody that represent that community to be the lead in that community. And if you come from other cultures, you'll be in a partnership with somebody with the lead in that community. That's what I'm seeing so far. Now, myself, in my outside effort of consumer protection and educating the public on protecting themselves as a consumer, I've worked with NYPD to go out and educate people on certain type of subjects that will help them in that area. A close, almost mother-like person in my life, she is a community police officer. And is very needed in America, and there's not enough of it going on in America. Now, my question is, what is going on with some of these polices that are not in tune with a particular community? Why assign an officer in that area that don't know the needs of the area, don't know the structure of the area, don't know the day-to-day routine of the area? And if you are going to sign somebody in that area, he has to be connected to somebody who knows that area. Now, I'm going to talk about some police efforts that's been happening lately. Now, we recently seen here's my disclaimer. My views are nobody else's views, nobody else's opinion. Like I told you before, I don't follow codes, I don't follow mindsets, I don't follow ideology, or nothing like that. At the end of the day, when I die, it's just me and my creator. Nobody else. So what I do on this earth, I have to do it as a solo. If it helps out your group, that's just an extra. But I'm not supporting anybody group 100%. I may support your philosophies or some of the things that you do. I may lend my support. But you can't say Robert Brown is on your team. Okay, Robert Brown like tennis, he like golf. But I can do whatever I can to support your team in some efforts. And in some cases, you can say I'm on your team. But that's my decision. You're not going to pull me on that decision. I don't care who you are. And I am not on that team that all polices are bad. I'm not on that team of, I understand the history of policing in America. I understand the term officer come from the word overseer. I understand that. I've been married to a police officer. My ex-wife was a detective for 17 years. So I know the mindset of a police officer. I know about the blue codes. You know, I understand that police officers, that's not your job. That's who you become. You can't detach yourself after a while of being a police officer for so many years. You are literally not a regular Joe. You are a police officer. Everything you do, even in the household, is policing. It's controlling an environment and securing the perimeters. And if something come out of whack, you're going to get kind of upset about that. That's why I'm not married to that young lady now. Even though she was cute, sexy. Man, we had some good times. Anyway, nevertheless, what is going on? It's bad enough. We're starting to see an increasing police to human deaths, especially in the Black community. How a cop just shoots you if they feel like they're threatened and get off. You can have a screwdriver and they'll shoot you. You could be pregnant and trying to stop the cops from shooting you and tasering you when you are with child. And if you block it or grab a hold of it and pull it away from the cop's hand, as you will see soon, they feel like you're a threat to them and they can shoot you. You can talk back to the police, let them know your rights, and talk to them just as firm as they talk to you, and they will get upset and feel that they're threatened. Not understanding that they work for you. You don't work for them. Not understanding that you're their boss. The taxpaying citizens are the bosses of the police department, of the sheriff department, any other authority in that area. Any public service. Mind you, it's a social effort. It's one of the few social programs where socialism works in America. They work for you. The sidewalk you stand on and videotape them on. Videotaping is your Second Amendment right. The sidewalk you stand on doing it is not private property, it's public property. You have a right to be on there. So no cop can go around telling you what to do when you're on public property. Shout out to my boy Big Nick's Southern Accountability. You ought to go check out his YouTube channel. Big Nick is a young a black man, served in the military, a veteran, and all he do is go around executing his rights, Second Amendment rights. He goes around videotaping police, making sure they do the job that we, the taxpayers, pay them to do. And oftentimes he's butting head with these police officers and they don't like it, and then he'll call them out. And then when he executing his rights and staying firm in his rights like we all should do, and stay on the law versus what they say, they oftentimes do that what they call walk of shame. When they know Nick is right and they can't do anything about it, they can't intimidate him, they can't pressure him, they take that walk of shame. Some cops, they refuse to take that walk of shame, so they'll rather do something aggressive to try to lock you up anyway, or plant something on you, or even shoot and kill you, because they don't want to walk that walk of shame. They messed up and they got to cover up for it. Some, not all. Going back to what I said, ultimately, being a police officer is a noble, credible job. After I got out of the military and took some college courses, I dropped out of college. I had a child on the way, and I went back to the hometown of the young lady who I got pregnant, and that was one of the first jobs that I said I wanted to do. I wanted to be a cop in a small town. I thought it was legit, blah, blah, blah. You know, it would have been a good deal for me. So what I did, I saw that a store downtown was broken into. So I just assumed that this was destiny. Here I am. I'm going down there first thing Monday morning to sign up for the academy, and I can get in good now because here I see a furniture store where the window is busted out. So I called the police department on back then we didn't have cell phones. So I called the police department on a payphone, and guess who they arrested and guess who they took downtown? Yeah, your boy Bob TV. I'm telling them, look, I called y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all about this situation. I'm coming down here money to sign up for police academy classes, and the way y'all treat me, I don't want to be a cop. And I shouldn't have let that incident spoil me from becoming a cop in that area, but it definitely did. Now, the cop ratio in that town was 9 white cops to 1 black cop. So I would have been like one of the few cops in that town. But I still thought it would have been a good deal. So ultimately, cops are there to do their jobs. And it's a good, rewarding job if you're a person of service. But sometimes people take that badge and they think they're a person of warfare. They are a aggressor or dominant. That I got this badge now, it gives me power. And it doesn't give you power. That power was given to you by the taxpaying citizen. And that power can be taken away from you. Now, I'm setting this up because it has gone from killing our young kids, killing us black males. Now, I got stories about women getting killed by cops, pregnant women at that. Women with kids going in. One young lady, she called the police because somebody broke into her house. She got a knife ready to, just in case that person attacked them. The cops come in, see her with the knife, and just straight shoot instead of trying to talk her down to get so they can communicate. They just straight shoot her in front of her kids. Now, I'm going to show an incident of a young lady who give me a moment. Now, what is going on in Texas? Now we know Texas oftentimes is ridiculous when it comes to policing. And in particular, what is going on with Baytown? Baytown have 2 national cases against them right now of over-policing, police brutality, and downright being a punk, where you're going to blame anything from a freaking a screwdriver. You're threatening of a freaking screwdriver to a picker-upper picking up trash. Now, I'm going to cover these 2 stories, and then we got to do something, sign a petition or whatever, to apply pressure on places like Baytown, Texas. I myself will never go to Baytown, Texas, because obviously there's a lot of bad policing going on. Now, back in the early days, you will find white supremacists and you will find racism. You can get your jollies on exercising white supremacy and your hatred by becoming a police officer and getting off with it. We all know back in the early days that police officers would brutalize and kill black people at will, go to court and nothing happens. We have case after case where police officers hung men by their throat and dragged them by their police cars. Murdering black men and throwing them in the bushes. All right, so I'm going to set this up. There's a young lady who was returning home in a apartment complex. And the police officer rolled up on her. Why, I don't know. And began to tussle with her and shoot and kill her. Now, I don't want to hear nothing from you police lovers, okay? I mean, like I said, police got a job to do, but there's some people who think police cannot do wrong. They got the right to do whatever they want. You shouldn't be talking back at them like they're not your freaking parents, man. If you know your rights, you have the freedom of speech. You can speak your right. Sandra Bland was, in my opinion, murdered because she stood up to that police and let them know you wrong. I'm videotaping this. And officers can't handle that kind of talk. They don't want nobody. They want to be the authority figure. They want to be the aggressive. They want to be the dominant one. They want to tell you what to do to make you feel small. They have to control you. You don't control them. When ultimately you are the taxpaying citizen, you are the one that pays their salary. They answer to you. The only thing is they're not going to answer to you if you don't know what's your rights in that situation. A lot of people think I offer Legal Shield because I'm just trying to make some extra money. Now, hey, Walmart offer you products too and services too. And the bottom line is money going to be made. But that's not why I got involved with Legal Shield. I got involved with Legal Shield because of situations like this. By the way, while you're at it, there's a link. I want you to get to know Legal Shield. Go to EJ4All, that's EJ4All.com, and watch those videos so you can get educated on what Legal Shield can do to help you out with situations like this. I've been approached by cops plenty of times, but I got right, and I got instant access to my attorney, and I know the Miranda rights don't have to be exercised once you get to jail. It can be exercised the moment the cops run into you. The moment they approach to you, you have a right to say, if it's your intention to question, detain, or arrest me, you got to allow me to call my attorneys. Now, here in New York and a lot of places, body cams are important. Now, they try to be slick with the body cams, cross their arm, try to cover it up. They'll try to cut the sound off, stupid stuff like that. We see you cops. We know you try to do stupid stuff like that. But great cops who do their job, they understand that they're supposed to videotape their confrontation, they're supposed to record it for their protection as well as for the protection of the citizen. But you have a right to say to them, and they have to have this on video, allow me to call my attorney immediately. But problem is, it is Sunday afternoon right now. It's 4:12. The average person don't have access to call an attorney office, or unless you are wealthy and you got thousands on a retainer where you can call attorney anytime you want to, you ain't got that access. But with the program that I'm telling you about, you got 24-hour access. I don't care if it's Christmas, 2 o'clock in the morning. If the cops stop you, you have a right to call your attorney, and that attorney will be available to assist you in that situation. There's plenty of time when I've been driving and I seen the police lights on and I'm in a dark area. It is my right to go to a public area. And if the cop try to stop me on that, that's fine. But oftentimes, by the time the police come up to my window, I already have my attorney on speakerphone, and I will tell that officer, I have nothing to say. If you want to talk to me, my attorney is on the phone, and my attorney would address them. You quickly go from, look here, buddy, you know you were doing 10 over, to, look here, Mr. Brown, it seems that we clocked you going 10 over. You go from buddy to Mr. Brown. When they know you have representation, they tend to kind of not deal with you any kind of way they want to. Why? Because it could cost them their badge. It could cost them their badge. That's why I push this program, and that's why I want you guys to get educated. Whether you get the service or not, that's on you. If you want to continue to walk around without any kind of legal protection, that's on you. Legal aid is not going to help you in situations like this. Your cousin, who's an attorney, ain't going to help you with a situation like that. By the way, they want to get paid too. Not too many people want to do something free, not even for family members. Now, let's look at this situation. This is a young lady who was coming home from work, going to her house walking, and you got the polices, they're always looking for suspicion. The number one thing they want to do is get your information so they can run it through the system to see if you got any priors, any warrant, and things like that, so they can find some way to get you in their system with their name tagged on it, which is a brownie point for them. See, cops have quotas that they have to go by every month. It's almost like a sales job. That's why I don't do hardcore commission sales, because you got to meet quotas. I don't like that. Okay. Cops are the same way, and if they don't meet a quota, that's a problem. They can quickly come from the beat to sitting behind a desk, and they don't want that. So they got to meet quotas. But they don't have to meet a quota on you. So there's certain things you got to put yourself in a position to, and just in case. Like I said, I get approached from a cop. Nobody, especially when I'm dressed in regular gear, jeans, boots, sneakers, hoodie. I got a beard. Oftentimes I'm getting stopped by the police because I look like I'm a Muslim. They Muslim profile me and all that kind of, because, I'm not black. I'm caramel complected with a beard. I can go for, people assume that, I could be a part of the Muslim faith as if that's a threat. So I get profiled anyways. But if they're going to ask me any kind of questions, I'm getting my attorney on the phone. Now, I quickly tell them, if it's your intention to detain, question, or arrest me, I got a right to call my attorney, and I got a right to call him right now. And then I do it. And then the attorney handle the situation from there. Oftentimes they stand down. Sometimes they may want to go a little more forward with it, but if they do, you better believe my attorney is on them like white on rice. And I got one of the best attorneys in New York. Thelma Kramer in Monaco is one of the top attorneys in New York, and I don't pay thousands of dollars a month. I got access to him, and my membership is $13.95 a month. And I have access to attorney 24 hours a day in emergency situation, as well as normal stuff like stop, any question I may want to ask, or if I need them to write a letter, phone call on my behalf of somebody trying to take advantage of me. Just click the link below and you get educated. I'm not going to go over it on this right now, but let me get into this video, because this is very disturbing. When you start attacking pregnant black women, that's a problem. Especially when they're crying out to you, telling you, I'm pregnant. You're harming me. And a lot of times there's so much fear in the black community that a police officer will kill you. We're in defense mode. Instead of us assuming you're just going to pat us down and let us go, we in our mindset, because of what we've seen on national TV, in our mindset, officers are a threat instead of a friend. Officers are not a help to us. They're an enemy to us because of what we've seen. So oftentimes we're in defense mode. We're trying to protect ourselves. We're not in an aggressive mode. A lot of time, I've been thrown on a car by a cop before, and my arms being twisted to the point where it's so painful. I'm trying to relieve my pain by moving my wrist, but you call that resistance. No, dude, you hurting me. And you got the cuffs on too tight. You're bruising me. And then I got to deal with that until I get down to intake and get those things off my hand, me being in pain with my arm twisted and those cuffs tightened up so tight that I'm in pain the whole ride. You talking about intimidation. Anyway, let me get to this.
Pop the.
Now she's talking to the officer. This is Baytown, Texas. Baytown, Texas got a problem with cops just trying to dominate black people. Probably doing the same thing to the Mexican culture or Hispanic culture in that area. They ain't doing that to too many white people. She's saying, I'm walking to my apartment. That is not a crime. He's trying to apprehend her. And she did not do anything. She has a right to say, you don't have a right to touch me or do anything. You haven't charged me with anything. You can't tell me about a crime I did. And you don't have the, you can try to ask me some questions. You can try to detain me. But if there's nothing that I'm suspicious of and you can't back it up, then I don't have to talk to you. And you do have a right to walk away. They don't like that. They have to control you. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them just feel that they have to be the big junk around there and you got to fear them. So let's go back to this. She said, I'm walking to my apartment. I'm actually walking to my house. She said, I feel like you're harassing me. Now he put her hands on. A cop don't have no right to put their hand on you unless it is their intention to arrest you. Not even in a detainment situation. They can't put their hand on you in a detainment situation. You can give them authority to check you, to search you, but you have to give them that. But they don't have a right to put their hand on you unless you consent to it. Now, if it's his intention to arrest you, he can pursue you because there's an intention to arrest. But that has to have a whole lot of weight behind that intention. He can't just do it anytime he wants. But if you don't know that, they'll put that intimidation to let you think that they can just do that. How do I know that? Because I spend time with police officers. Like I said, I do initiatives for them in the community. And I oftentimes speak to my attorneys that know the law, especially state law. Now, every state is different, but it's nationally known that you have the Miranda rights. Miranda rights are that's a national law. All right, so she pulled away from the cops, said, you're actually harassing me. Now, you can't see it because it's fuzzy, because somebody was videotaping this, but the officer shot her with a taser. For what? For standing up for a right? For telling you ain't got no right to try to hold me. If it's not your intention to detain me or arrest me, you got to let me go. I don't owe you no question. I ain't got to ask you jack. I ain't got to answer nothing to you. But they'll continue to bark orders that you sit down, give me your information, blah, blah, blah. Then they'll try to say you're trying to obstruct justice. Justice or what? I haven't been, what justice? There haven't been a crime. You're trying to ask me questions. I ain't got to answer you. And the Miranda right says, you have a right to attorney. Don't answer any question on any cop if you have access to an attorney. People who got access to an attorney, they're not going to answer any questions. They're not going to sign anything. Everything is going to be done through their attorney. But the problem is most of African Americans, most of Hispanic, most minorities don't have access to that type of service. They should, but they don't. I do whatever I can to let you know about a program that does that, but you think I'm trying to sell you something. No, I'm not trying to get nothing from you. I'm trying to get something to you. I could care less about all that stuff. I got the services because I need it for myself. I've used it plenty of time. I didn't get into the opportunity until I used it and seen how it helped me. And I figured it'll help other people too, because if it helped me, it can help at least 1,000 other people that's within my circle. And you happen to be one of them. But let me continue with this video.
Pop the...
All right, so the cops is harassing her. She is on the ground. The cop is standing over her. Now, like I said, he tased this pregnant woman. Okay? Now, she got a baby. She would do it. I mean, you don't know what a mother would do to try to not be electrocuted, because that's all this cop is doing. So it's alleged that she pulled the taser gun away from the cop. But yet, the police chief gonna say she took the gun away from him and was gonna taser him. What? What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? You can threaten me, my life, and I can't protect myself? Do a badge exempt you from me protecting myself just because you got a badge and I feel like you're a threat to me? Now, me personally, I try not to ever go through those situations. But what do you expect a pregnant woman to do when she's thinking her life is being threatened? You already done tased me. Now, my question is, how is she going to tase him when she tased him first? Those things shoot out and they latch onto you. What? She know how to use the gun where she could pull those tentacles, so to speak, what it is. She know how to pull those tentacles and put them back in the gun after she tased him. Get out of here. Just because she got pulled the gun away from them don't mean she can use it. You can't just turn around and use it like that. Now she's saying, why are you doing this to me? You're harassing me. Why? The same thing Sandra Bland said. But let's keep going. She's saying, why? I've done nothing to you. Yet this cop is still trying to arrest this lady. And she haven't been committing a crime. And how can you resist arrest when I'm not charged with anything? That's the thing that a lot of people say. She shouldn't have been resisting arrest. In order for you to be arrested, you have to be trying to charge me with something. If you're not charging me with anything, you don't have a right to arrest me. So resisting what? You can't just come up on me and try to pull my arm back and try to lock me up in handcuffs and you don't have nothing to charge against me. What, a resisting arrest is a charge? No, you have to charge me first. Excuse me. You have to charge me first, and that charge gives you a right to arrest me, but you got to state the charges first. You can't say resisting arrest is a charge. No, you got to charge me first, and if I resist arrest, then that's a problem. But there has to be a charge. Again, if it's not your intention to detain, question, or arrest me, you got to let me go, or at least let me call my attorney. Let's keep going. Now, this lady's on the ground, allegedly pregnant. She just got shot by this cop with a taser. Good thing it wasn't a regular gun first, but it doesn't matter because that's, Lord help me. This cop pulled out his gun and shoot this woman. So he figured that he cannot get this woman down, and whatever he's doing is not working. He cannot arrest her, and there's no charges. She might own no business going on. And see, this can happen to you. This can happen to me. I can be casually going my way home, and a cop just pull up on me trying to aggressively ask me questions that he shouldn't be asking. My whole thing is, what is this for? Why are you asking me these questions? Am I being charged with anything? Because you do know I have the Miranda rights. I don't have the, number one, I ain't got to answer none of your questions. And if you don't have nothing to charge me with, I need to be going about my business now. A weak cop won't like that. A strong, smart, intelligent cop, they'll try to figure out what else they can do, or they'll go about their business. They'll realize that, look, we don't have nothing on this guy. And I can understand a lot of time cops will try to come up on you. It's just like the broken taillight situation. Nothing wrong with your taillight or your license plate is expired. Nothing wrong with your license plate. It's just a con to try to get your information so they can run it through the system to see if you got any priors. And then they have a legitimate right to go after you. And like I said, they have a quota that they have to meet. Now, I don't know what really happened, the beginnings of this, but usually cops ride around, they'll look at you, they'll say, do you live here? Let me see some ID. They'll take your ID, and they don't just look at the address. If the address say you live there, that ain't enough for them. They're going to run your information in the system, hoping they can see that you have some priors, because they got to get their numbers up. And oftentimes, these methods lead to situations like this where people just don't want to put up with this mess. This guy shot this pregnant woman. The lady minding her own business, trying to go home. Whether she was intoxicated or not, that is not a factor. Whether she was smoking weed or not, that is not a factor. Whether she snort cocaine, that is not a factor. Unless she got the weed in her pocket and the cop saw her, unless she got cocaine in her pocket and the cop saw her buy cocaine, that's a different story. But the fact that if she's intoxicated, she's on her way home, that is not a crime. Me getting drunk going home is not a crime. Okay, I'm high. I'm going home. It's not, look, I don't smoke the weed now. I don't have no weed on me. That ain't a crime. You can't put me in jail for being intoxicated if I'm walking and I'm in my apartment complex. That's Baytown, Texas. But this is happening all across the United States. Got to tell you. Hey, thank you for watching that episode of The Rob Report. Before you go now, I need you to do two things for me. First thing, I want you to like the video if you liked it. Second thing, I want you to share it all across social media. And if you have not subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button right now. Stop and do it. As Jimmy Dore says sometimes, you think you're subscribed, or you go check and find out you're not subscribed. So make sure you check that you're subscribed and hit the notification bell. That'll let you know when I put a new content out. I'm not a fan of Super Chat, so if you plan on giving to the efforts of Bob TV, make sure you do that through Bob TV NYC at paypal.me. Anybody who want to have free access to my Patreon channel, I'm trying to save you money on your cable bill. I ran into a program that I think everybody need, everybody can afford, and everybody should have, and that link is down there below. 5,000 plus channel, best sports package, and the best premium TV and even international channels, and you can access this all over the world. Go ahead and check that out, get your free trial, and if you decide to support, become members of those two services, we'll go ahead and give you full access to the Patreon channel, and there's no cost to it. So my name is Robert Brown with The Rob Report. Thank you for watching. I'll holler at you later. Peace.